Am I the bad guy for how I reacted when my fiancé chose a concert with her best friend over being there for me while I was sick? Hey Reddit, I need a reality check. My ex-fiancé, I'm 32M, she's 29F. Let's call her Jenna, and all her friends are now calling me manipulative and cruel. But from where I'm standing, I handle things with reason and calm. Sure, the consequences were major, but I think my actions were measured. So, here I am asking, was I really in the wrong? Jenna and I had been together for 4 years, engaged for the last 6 months. Outwardly, we seemed solid. I have a stable career as a lead project manager, and I'd always been content supporting us financially. The apartment lease? In my name. Utilities? Mine. The car she drove? Registered to me. Even our shared cell plan was under my account. We agreed on this arrangement when we moved in together because my credit and income were in better shape. She worked part-time doing social media and mostly used her income for personal stuff. I thought we had a solid, mutually supportive relationship. But there was always one recurring issue: Leo, 30M, her best friend from college. Their friendship was intense. He had a key to our place and was around constantly. Anytime Jenna and I had a disagreement, she'd reach out to him first for advice, before even resolving things with me. I'd tried to bring up boundaries multiple times, always calmly. Every time, I was brushed off as insecure or jealous. Her go-to response was, "Leo is like family. You need to accept that." And I did because I trusted her. That was my mistake. Last Wednesday, I came down hard with the flu, fever over 103, chills, body aches, the whole deal. I could barely move, glued to the couch under layers of blankets. Friday night was the big concert she and Leo had been excited about for months. Of course, I told her she should still go. I wasn't going to stop her. All I asked was if she could check on me before she left, maybe grab some more meds on her way back. I thought it was a fair ask. This was my fiancé, after all. Around 5 p.m. Friday, I was feeling even worse. I called and asked if she could pick up a specific fever reducer. She told me she couldn't. She was already out getting ready for the show, with Leo. I was weak, but I said, "Okay, can you at least fill up my water before you head out? And maybe just shoot me a quick text when you're on your way back." Then came the bombshell. Actually, Leo and I were thinking of just staying downtown after the concert. It'll be super late and getting a cab home would be a hassle. There was a long pause. My fiancé was planning to spend the night in a hotel room with her male best friend while I was home alone, barely able to move. Softly, I said, "Jenna, I have a high fever. I'm by myself. I really need you to come home." Her response? A tired sigh. One of those frustrated, drawn-out ones. Then she said, "Look, I know you're not feeling great, but I can't let Leo down. He's been looking forward to this forever. I already promised him. It's just one night." I waited for something, anything, a touch of kindness, a little concern. But there was nothing. Just silence on her end. At that moment, a strange clarity took over. I no longer felt the fever or the chills. I saw our relationship for exactly what it was. And it hit me, the foundation we'd built was hollow. Her priorities were unmistakably clear, and I wasn't on the list. "I understand," I said quietly, voice flat. "Relieved," she said. "I'm glad you're not making this a big deal. I'll see you tomorrow." Then she hung up. I stayed on that couch for a while. Then I made a decision. No, I wasn't going to make a big deal out of it. I was going to make the last deal out of it. Somehow, adrenaline kicked in. Maybe it was the fever meds. Either way, I got up and got to work. First, I packed 3 large suitcases. I took everything that was mine: clothes, books, personal files, old family photos. I erased my presence from that apartment like I'd never lived there. Then, I picked up the phone. I called our cell phone provider and had her line, on my family plan, suspended immediately. Next, I contacted the credit card company and reported her secondary card as lost. Cancelled. Gone. Then I logged into all our shared streaming accounts and reset every password. After that, I sat down at my laptop. I wrote a short, formal email to our landlord, giving official notice to terminate the lease. I included the required form and paid the final month's rent in full. And finally, I wrote a short note. I left it on the kitchen counter beside her now useless key. Then I locked the door, walked away, and drove to my parents' place to rest and recover. The note read, "Hope the concert was worth it. Go be his priority." So tell me, Reddit, was I the a-hole? She says I was cruel, vindictive, even evil. I think I simply listened to her loud and clear and acted accordingly. Update number 1, 3 days later. The feedback I got from Reddit has been incredible. Thank you to everyone who helped me realize I wasn't crazy. So many of you asked what happened next. Well, as you might guess, the fallout was a spectacle. I spent Saturday recovering at my parents' house. My fever finally broke. I slept. I rested. My phone? Silent. I had already blocked Jenna's number, and for a moment, I thought maybe she'd gotten the message. But on Sunday afternoon, the storm hit. It started with a string of panicked emails from her. The first one, sent around 1 p.m., was titled, "Where are you? Hey, just got back to the apartment. It's empty. Where's all your stuff? And my key isn't working. Did you change the lock? Please call me." An hour later, another one came in, this time full of anger. Subject: "This isn't funny, Mike. My phone doesn't work. I had to use Leo's just to email you. What did you do?" The landlord just taped a termination notice on the door. "You need to call him and fix this now." The final email she sent that night was soaked in raw desperation. Subject: "Please just talk to me." Okay, I get it, you're angry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have stayed at the hotel. But this is over the top. You can't just vanish and cancel the lease. I have nowhere to stay. All my stuff is still here, and the credit card declined at brunch today. It was humiliating. We need to talk. Please, Mike. I made a mistake. I didn't answer any of her messages. But the real story of how their weekend ended didn't come from Jenna. It came from an unexpected source, Leo's on-again, off-again girlfriend, Sarah. She found me online and sent a message after seeing my Reddit post, which, apparently, had made the rounds. She said I had officially become her hero. According to Sarah, Leo told her he was heading out of town for a guys-only weekend. She only discovered he was actually at a concert with my fiancé after seeing the pictures they posted online. She said this kind of behavior was typical for him. He'd use women as temporary entertainment or crash spots during their breaks. And from what she described, their grand return to the apartment on Sunday turned into a full-on meltdown. They walked through the door expecting comfort and normalcy, and instead were met with my note, a dead phone, changed Wi-Fi, logged-out streaming accounts, and a completely hollow space. Her belongings were there, but the life that once filled the apartment had been erased. What was supposed to be a fun, romantic weekend unraveled into a shouting match. Jenna blamed Leo for encouraging the hotel stay. Leo, once he realized the free ride was over, the comfortable home and financially supportive girlfriend gone, apparently lost all interest in being her shoulder to cry on. According to Sarah, Leo grabbed his things and walked out, telling Jenna this wasn't his mess to clean up. And just like that, the woman who had left me alone while I was sick was now completely abandoned in an apartment she no longer had a right to, with no money, no working phone, and no best friend. Her priorities had walked out the door, just like she did with me. Update 2. 1 month later. The last 4 weeks have been filled with logistics, but also with clarity. Untangling our shared life was smoother than expected, mostly because I had legal support. My lawyer, a brilliant woman recommended by my father, handled everything with surgical precision. Jenna was served with a formal notice. The letter laid out the details clearly. I had vacated the apartment and ended the lease, within my rights. It listed every piece of major furniture and shared items, each one purchased by me, and included receipts. She had 2 choices. Buy the items at a fair depreciated value, or I would have movers collect them on the final day of the lease. The letter also included a final bill, her share of the previous month's expenses, including her portion of utility payments and the concert tickets I had paid for. Her response? A rambling and defensive email from her lawyer, clearly someone in over his head. He argued Jenna had rights to half the belongings due to a common-law partnership, and accused me of acting maliciously and leaving her homeless without warning. My attorney's reply, I was told, was nothing short of masterful. She reminded him that our state has specific, rigid conditions for common-law marriage, and Jenna and I met none of them. She reframed everything. This wasn't cruelty, but a natural, foreseeable outcome of Jenna's own choices. My affidavit was included, outlining her exact words from that Friday night: "I can't let Leo down." We made it clear, if she wanted to pursue the matter legally, we were ready. We would subpoena Leo and ask him, under oath, about the nature of their relationship and the night they spent at the hotel. That was the last we heard from her lawyer. The last thing they wanted was Leo testifying under scrutiny. Legally defeated, Jenna had to face reality. She couldn't afford to buy the furniture. She couldn't afford to keep the apartment. She spent the final weeks sleeping on an air mattress, surrounded by boxes, in an empty space she could no longer call home. The day we moved out was quiet. I showed up with professional movers and a third-party witness. Jenna barely reacted. All the fire, the arrogance, gone. She just sat on the floor, silent, watching her old life disappear one piece at a time. She didn't speak until the very end, when the movers were hauling out the bed. In a hoarse, barely audible voice, she asked, "Was it really just because of the concert?" I looked at her, this person who once meant everything to me and now felt like a stranger. "No," I said. "It was never just about the concert. It was about the fever. It was about the decision you made." I just responded with one of my own. Final update. 6 months later. It's been half a year since I walked out of that apartment, and into a better life. The chaos has long since settled. In its place, peace, clarity, and quiet strength. Jenna, however, has felt the full weight of the real-world consequences. And they didn't come from me, they came from the reality she created. She was forced to leave the apartment and move back in with her parents. No savings, no support system, and a severely bruised reputation. The life she had built, luxurious, exciting, city-centered, was gone. The friend she couldn't say no to? He vanished. Leo didn't want someone struggling. He wanted fun, not responsibility. He used her up and left. Her parents are helping her, but they've put their foot down. From what I've heard, they've insisted she take real responsibility for her life. She's now working full-time to pay off the debts she racked up, including the final invoice I sent her. The idea of consequences was foreign to her before. Not anymore. As for me, I've never been stronger. The first thing I did was take a real vacation, just me and the mountains. 2 weeks of hiking, thinking, clearing out all the emotional clutter. When I got back, I sold most of the old apartment furniture. Every piece carried a ghost of who we were. I used the money as a down payment on a modest house, just mine. It has a backyard, a small workshop, and most importantly, peace. My career is thriving. Without constant emotional distractions, my focus has sharpened. I'm leading better, working better, and feeling balanced. I haven't started dating again. I'm not rushing it. I'm getting reacquainted with myself, learning to trust my own instincts again. But I'm not lonely, I'm whole. Jenna's choice that night seemed small. One evening, one concert, one friend. But it was the final pressure test on a relationship already weakened by imbalance. And it caused a complete collapse. I didn't set out for revenge. I simply left the building, and let it fall. And I have never been more grateful for trusting my gut. So, Reddit, was I the villain?